Okay, we're live. Testing, testing. Today on Quality Time with Family Ties, we learn nostalgia is a Greek word that means plotless episode.
And in 3, 2, 1. Hey everybody, welcome to Quality Time with Family Ties. I am one of your hosts, Scott Jones. Joining me as always, Mr. Paul Packler. Paul, how's it going?
I'm great. I'm happy that you're back, Scott Jones.
I'm glad to be back. I missed you guys. Corey, I missed you too.
Oh, even me?
Even you, Corey. Even you.
It just wasn't the same. All of a sudden, it was me and Paul having a very erudite, esoteric conversation instead of the ridiculousness that we have to suffer through when you're here.
Oh, okay, fair enough. It was more my dinner with Andre, I can imagine.
One of Paul's favorite movies.
That's what I
exactly.
figure.
I was like a pig in whatever some word for shit that doesn't sound bad. Excrement.
Yeah.
Like a pig in excrement.
Nailed.
Well, I missed you.
Speaking of shit, how about this episode?
Oh God.
This episode.
It's I've discovered that the episodes I really don't like aren't the ones that are just god awful, but the ones that are just like vanilla. Like this is just total vanilla.
Yep.
Yeah, this is just a fastball right down the middle. There's nothing to it, and it's there's barely any plot. And I mean, you could say it in literally one sentence, and you'd cover everything.
Right.
I love Paul's sports analogy. It was a fastball down the middle.
Well, you have your Yankees shirt on, so I figured I would,
It's a Mets shirt! Mets! Mets!
This is what I missed. I missed this. Yeah. I think my biggest note I wrote in like all caps is, what is the point of this episode? Like, there's no point to it whatsoever.
Did we say what the name of it is?
Well,
Lost Weekend.
Lost Weekend. Is it like a Lost Weekend? Like, I think Hunter S. Thompson when I think Lost Weekend.
Or
like,
John
Lennon.
Yeah. There's a famous movie called Lost Weekend where the Oscar winner was actor Ray Milland, if I remember correctly, playing an alcoholic in a movie, one of the first movies about alcoholism called The Lost Weekend.
Oh. Okay.
That would have made this episode so much better.
Yeah.
Arthur
could have been here and it would have made it much better.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I'd love to watch Arthur right now instead of talking about this episode.
And now we fall down our usual rabbit hole of talking about a movie we would rather watch than do the job we're supposed to do.
Oh, what, the movie Arthur?
Oh, I love the movie.
Of course.
Arthur. Oh, I love the movie Arthur. And the remake, that has to be one of the most disparate original movie, most horrendous remake.
Yeah.
And they should have known from the very beginning that the whole magic of Arthur was Dudley Moore, that he was able to play drunk and likable, which is very hard to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And alcoholism isn't quite as funny as it was in 1982.
No. Isn't it funny? All of a sudden it's not funny anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it was. There's entire scenes of Dudley Moore driving around drunk, and it's just like, what's going on?
This is I never saw the remake. Corey, did you see the remake?
About 10 minutes of it. That's all I made it through. It was horrible.
Did they even do anything like that? Because I would figure they couldn't even get away with that today in movies.
It was Helen Mirren in the Sir John Gielgud role.
Right.
And
it's about as best as you could do.
Mm-hmm. Russell Brand, and who was the Liza Minnelli role? I forget who the girl was.
Jennifer Garner.
Really?
Was it Jennifer Garner or someone else?
No.
I think either that or she was Either that or she was and I didn't see this, I just remember the trailers and how bad it looked, but she was like the girl that he was supposed to marry.
Oh, the Bill Eikenberry in the original is the girl he's supposed to marry, who's so devoted and loves him so much, in spite of his rampant alcoholism and cirrhosis.
It writes itself. Okay. All right. Well, as much as we would like to watch Arthur, let's get through this. If you're playing along at home, guys, we're on Season 3, Episode 10, the title, The Lost Weekend. And we start off in the kitchen. Okay. We got to break down Meredith Baxter Birney's maternity leave and Elise's bed rest, because I am completely confused at this point.
I think she's traveled. Yeah. First of all, she's so small in this episode. It's obviously like a belly that she's wearing or something. Second thing is, she's about to go out on a weekend getaway with the kids, and she's pregnant further along than she was in other episodes. She's already gone to visit her mother. She's going on this camping trip. She's traveled more than I have in the past 5 years.
Yeah. Just
What's that, Corey?
Just during the last 9 months, she has traveled more than anybody I've ever seen.
Yeah, and let's say she has that office job. How's she getting all this time off? And then she's going to have maternity leave, too.
Right. And once you're prescribed bed rest, that's what you have to do. Like that is like your doctor said, you need to stay in bed. You can't just not do it, otherwise you're gonna have complications. Elise is not taking care of herself.
No.
Oh.
But I'm glad to know
Andy is going to be in really bad shape.
I was glad to know he had enough time to get a really nice haircut, because his hair is substantially shorter in this first scene than it has been recently.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
right. It's noticeably different. I kept looking to see if this is when he had started filming Back to the Future, and it's still not yet. This is like in November, so it's going to be at least another 4 episodes before shooting. It was like in the new year that I think he started doing Back to the Future.
Right, we have at least 2 more it was the 84 that we're in right now. 2 years, 2 more episodes.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, 2 or 3. Okay. And the whole plan is Elise is going to take the girls up to a cabin, and Steven's going to stay home with Alex, so it's going to be a boys' weekend and a girls' weekend, and they're going to get a chance to bond with their kids before the baby comes.
And they couldn't see the handwriting on the walls here, given the ages of the children.
Yeah.
I mean, this.
Yeah.
Let's to the last moment of this when Steven and Elise are alone, because that's exactly what I thought. It's like, oh wow, this is a disaster. This is never going to work, and we're going to waste the next 20 minutes or so.
Yeah. Way to know your children. You think Mallory is going to want to go up to the cabin where there are no boys, no TV, no radio?
No mall, no shopping, no. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And Alex, have you met your son, Alex P. He wants to sit and watch business news on television. He does not want to throw the old pig skin around.
Yeah.
I can't think of anyone who would not want to throw around a pigskin with his dad more than me. It's like it's neck and neck between me and Alex P. Keaton.
It's you, Paul Tankler. You're the one who would never. Hey, come on, Paul. Let's go outside and throw the old football around.
I would love to see Paul's reaction to that.
I would be like, no, I'm reading the Communist Manifesto. Leave me alone.
And that's you at 12.
Yes. Exactly.
So yeah, they're both. Stephen and Elise are comparing these two things that they've set up for the weekend. Like Stephen's like, I found the old pigskin. We're gonna toss around. It'll be, Alex will have so many memories from this. And Elise has kind of outdone him by making this amazing photograph album of just the girls and everything. She's really proud of it. She's kind of rubbing it into Stephen a little bit, like, I worked really hard on this. You just found a football. And so, yeah, so the girls head out, and Stephen and Alex are by themselves to hang out to have a guys' weekend.
But before the girls leave, they say one of the most important lines of dialogue we've ever heard on the show. And it had to do with what was the whole purpose of the weekend, so that they could spend quality time with their children.
Quality time with Family Ties. They predicted our show.
Absolutely.
They knew this was coming. God, this has become very meta. We're in an episode of Family Ties.
Even though it's
that we're reviewing.
Maybe this will be a thing throughout the episode that we'll discuss, but we know these characters, and they know each other because they're a family.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of delusional people are Stephen and Elise to be like? Because if you're like, listen, we're going to be so busy with this new kid, you guys are all going off on your own tangents of life, and we'd like to have one more moment. How about knowing what your kids like to do, and then joining them in those situations? It makes me mad at Stephen and Elise for being so obtuse.
Mm-hmm.
Right, absolutely. Now, Corey, Henry hasn't gotten to the age where we're doing big family trips yet. But you've probably done those, right? Having to plan out like a family trip. You took that stuff into account, right?
Sure, I would do what they wanted to do, not what I wanted to do. Maybe I'd take one day to go to the wineries, but but kids are not filled with the wineries. I could spend 5-6 days at the wineries, but then you do something else.
Right.
What I also thought was strange, I think, Carl, you were beating around this, where in this situation, remember, Stephen also said that the kids don't know what this weekend is all about. So wouldn't they sort of kamikaze the kids into these mysterious spend the weekend with mom and dad, whereas if they had given the kids fair warning, they might have actually gotten away with their plan. If they had said, hey, Alex, this is going to be the last weekend before the baby is born, and I thought maybe you and I could spend it bonding with each other and just do some old things that we used to do. And this is where Scott, he would say, what do you remember? What would you want to do if we were spending the weekend together? Is there any old memories that you have of stuff that you enjoyed?
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah, I totally agree. If they would just say these things out loud, even the shittiest 17-year-old would be like, give them a little slack or try to take them at their word. I don't know. It just seems so weird trying to keep it a secret. Or the way that they go about doing this, really odd.
Right. Yeah, you know what? At one point, you guys have kind of swayed me a little bit. At one point, I would say the kids are being really shitty, but now I feel like Stephen and Elise get what they deserve in this episode.
They sort of kind of set themselves up for disaster.
Right.
And then continue in each scene to be completely obtuse to the signals that their children are clearly sending out to them, so that they seem like narcissistic and self-absorbed with their own needs being met. And parenting, as we know, is never about your needs being met. It's always about your children's needs being met.
Mm-hmm. To put that in context, guys, listeners, as we do this podcast, I am babysitting, watching my kid right now.
I'm watching Henry on the screen right now.
Henry's right here. Yeah. And he's being very cool.
He is.
Just think, in 20 years, no, in like 15 years, you'll be like, come on, Scott, we're having a new, I'm sorry, come on, Henry, we're having a new baby. Let's do what we used to do for fun. You would sit on the couch and I would talk with my two friends.
Corey's in the nursing home. I'm sure he'll be up for it.
Oh, man. Gosh. Just slamming Corey. Look at that. Uh-oh.
Hang on, we're going to do another one of our podcasts. Maybe first. Boys, I'm getting a sponge bath right now.
At that point, I feel like we should go back and review Quality Time with Family Ties. If it's going to be like another 15, 20 years from now, we should watch ourselves. Yeah.
We'll do a podcast
Quality
about our
Time. Yeah. We'll do Quality Time with Family Ties.
Yeah.
Okay, so to start off with, Alex is in the living room reading the newspaper, and Steven's bringing down his big secret weapon for the weekend. He's bringing down the football to, relive those memories, and he feels like Alex has all these great memories behind this football. He's like, hey, let's go toss the old pigskin around. And Alex is like, what are you talking about? I don't remember any of that. He's like, no, we used to go to Lincoln Park and go to Dairy Queen. I get you a soft cone. He's like, are you sure that's me, Dad? So, I gotta say, like, shouldn't it be this obvious? Like, I can't imagine Alex P. Keaton enjoying throwing the football around for a very long amount of time. Like, maybe it was a phase he went through for like a year when he was 5. But it went away pretty quick, it seems like.
Not for a kid who watches me.
I mean, yeah, we learned that Alex watched Meet the Press when he was 5 years old. So there is no time when Alex would have been some, jock or something. But like,
Right.
I want to put this out to the audience and to you guys too, obviously. If I gave you 5 minutes to put on a show, you could do whatever you wanted. You had 5 minutes in front of an audience. And it could be like an audience of 30 people, friends and family. You have literally 5 minutes to do whatever you want. That 5 minutes would feel so long trying to fill it up and what are you going to do and all this stuff. This episode of Family Ties, I don't know how they fill so little into 24 minutes. Like, 24, if I'm giving you 5 minutes and it would feel interminable, this is 24 minutes of just nothing happening.
Yeah, the premise that they came up with does not sustain for 24 minutes.
Wait, Scott, you were breaking up there.
They're just pulling at straws from here on out.
Yeah.
Oh, can you hear me?
Now I can hear you.
Okay.
What were you saying, Corey?
Yeah.
I was just going to say, and the fact still remains is that the writers, I feel, almost joked it up as much as they could. I thought that there were a lot of jokes in the episode, is the only thing I can say. I thought the plot was terrible, and yet they sort of stuck in a bunch of jokes. I didn't think it was, I didn't think it was terrible on plot and okay on solidly written jokes that I thought landed.
No.
But other than that, it's the plot is so simplistic and almost non-existent, and really is almost more of a premise than anything else.
Yeah, yeah. It's just because we go to the girls' the girls arrive at the cabin, and the same thing happens with Elise and the girls. They're disgusted by the cabin. They can't believe they're staying here. They're gonna be miserable, and Elise is bummed out about it.
I'm gonna jump in on Corey's territory. Meredith Baxter's boobs in this scene, they are out and fabulous. Corey gave a double thumbs up. That was
double thumbs up. So
you're not watching, yeah.
And that's how I knew she wasn't pregnant, because her boobs look real sized, and at one point her boobs were ridiculous earlier in the season when she was really pregnant before the bed rest. That's why I figured, she gave birth already. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are we in the cabin?
Yeah, I mean, all that really happens in the cabin is again, it's just the parallel of what's happening with Alex. Here's
the funny thing. The rap session.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Elise wants to talk with the kids on the bed. She's like, come on, let's have a rap session. And the kids are like, I don't know what the hell that means. And Mallory, to the point that Mallory thinks she means rap with a W. And it's so funny that in 1984-85, rap was still not a thing, to the point that the writers for the show hadn't heard of it, and they're making a 17-year-old who probably would have heard of it hadn't heard of it.
Right.
And they were so determined to keep Mallory dumb that they gave her the ridiculous line of, "What else is on your mind, Mal?" And the camera lingers on her, and she goes, "Nothing."
So they're
That's
they're blatantly saying it now. Yeah.
She's that dumb.
Yeah.
Nothing's on her mind. While she's giving herself a pedicure.
Mm-hmm.
Or is that in the next scene?
Yeah, she's McMurphy at the end of Coop's Nest. That's how bad she's gotten in this episode.
Yeah. We go to the living. Okay, so we're back. Okay, so both Stephen and Elise striking out on this. We go back to the living room, and Stephen and Alex are sitting in like awkward silence. Like, that's such a weird way to start off the scene. Like, they're just sitting in awkward silence. Like, no father and son do that. Like, find something to do, Stephen. Like, at least Alex is reading the newspaper. And Stephen comes up with the idea, let's play chess, their favorite game that we've seen quite a bit.
Round 3 of 3 seasons, and we have 3 different chess episodes.
Yep.
I think
Chess
I
and
wrote
2 props.
So Steven's setting up the board, and Alex gets a phone call from Susie Farkas. The Susie Farkas.
Yeah, Paul, could you go back in time? How long ago did we meet Susie Farkas for real on the show?
That's what I was trying to think of. I was going to go check the details to see how many episodes they mentioned her. I feel like it's only once or twice. We've never seen her ever.
You've never met her.
But I don't know the full bio.
We've only talked about, just like the next door neighbor, Mrs. Olbeck.
Yeah.
Olbeck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I haven't been keeping tabs on the Susie Farkas bio of, like, if they ever dated and stuff like that. They make up stuff here that Alex used to have a crush on her in high school, and now she wants him to come over to get it on.
Right. And so Alex does the noble thing and be like, I can't right now. I just can't, because he sees how happy his dad is. But that completely goes away because this scene goes on forever of Alex trying to weasel out of this chess game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Like, with every move he's coming up with, but if the game was over, maybe I could go see it just drags on.
Well, Stephen being totally obtuse. So your teenage child has just been propositioned by a girl he's lusted after for years in a house empty, and you're not sensitive enough to your child to go, you want to play chess with Dad, Pussy from Strange. I don't really think it's
chess with Dad or chest with Susie Farkas?
Competition. Let the kid go, for God's sakes. It's 1984. We haven't even mentioned AIDS on the show yet. Let him go.
Right, so you're good.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's
so thank God he does let him go. Alex throws the game of chess. Stephen finally gets the hint and says, "Go, Alex, have fun." Which I thought was one of the cooler dad things to do, is just to be like, go fuck that girl.
It was good. Yeah, it was way cooler. It was. I was like, okay, that's cool, Stephen. But that scene felt like it went on forever. I was just
get to it already.
Just get to it.
Yeah.
All right.
Totally. But guys, let's get to the commercial, which happens right after that scene. We'll be right back. And we're back.
Yeah. All right. And we're back at the cabin. Things have gone south for Elise. The girls decide. Paul, remind me. The girls head out. What do they head out? What gets them excited to want to leave?
She wants to see if there's any girls from previous times that they've been to the cabin. Jennifer wants to play.
Oh, okay.
Right.
And they might have a radio and stuff, and so they get all excited, and they promise they'll be back by dark.
So the phone rings, and Stephen has called Elise. And this is where the episode takes a most ridiculous turn that it can possibly take. For some ridiculous reason, someone suggested that instead of being honest with each other, they both lie to each other. And this is also terribly out of character for Elise and Steven. And I was trying to figure what dramatic reason, what are they trying to save face from? I just don't understand.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
I didn't either.
It doesn't build to anything. Like, their lying has no reason, not even as far as, like, character motivation, but as far as, like, so where do we go after that?
Uh-huh.
It felt like
They repeat the beat again is what they end up doing. They repeat it again in another scene where they lie again to each other. It's just the same thing. It doesn't get bigger. It doesn't get worse. It's repetition, and it's stupid, and it has no reason, and it's really the overriding theme of this whole second act is the lies that Steven and Elise tell each other for no apparent reason.
Yeah, the only thing I thought, like, it seemed like an afterthought. It's like, oh, well, we started this whole little competition thing with the football and the photo album in the beginning. Let's bring that back in somehow. Let's keep that competition thing going somehow. But it doesn't translate. And when they were, like, imitating their kids, being in the room and everything and lying to each other, I wrote, this is the saddest thing I've ever seen two parents do.
It serves no purpose. And I think it would be the natural thing for a parent to say, my idea isn't really working. The kid, and then the parent will go, you know what, it's not really working with me either. I guess our children have grown up.
And then maybe you two, maybe you two together. Yeah, our children grow up. How about we just come back home, we find a movie or something to go to? This is bombing.
You need something like we're going to do for the rest of our lives.
Yes.
Yeah,
exactly.
That gets you.
No, I was going to say, it gets you further along, it gets you moving, gets the plot moving to where it ends up anyway, and it also allows you, for these two characters, to find the common ground that they wanted at the beginning of the episode. And so it allows you to then later go even further to be like, all right, so if we have them on the same team, what else can we learn? It's just, I don't know. This is writing 101. I don't know why they're fucking it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then to top it all off, we go back to, okay, so they both are competing over the phone. They hang up. Skippy comes over, and Steven starts treating Skippy like he's little Alex. He's trying to live vicariously through Skippy to go get a soft cone and throw the pigskin around.
Right.
And even Skippy has to tell. Yeah. Skippy wants to. Yeah, it's really creepy. And even Skippy Handelman, the nicest person on the planet, has to tell Steven, look, I just need a ride to the library.
I just want to ride to the library. That's it.
I kind of like that moment because you've never seen Skippy do that before. So Steven takes Skippy to the library. They leave. We come back later. The girls come home. The trip is a bust. They're like, they wanted to come home. Elise brings them home. There's a line in there that the car ride was 7 hours?
I guess 3.5 each way.
Yeah.
That would make more sense.
That would make more sense. Okay. All right.
And it's crazy because this whole episode is supposed to take place all over the course of one day. Like, they went up to the mountains and then came right back.
Came right back, and then the girls are off to a movie, and...
Yeah, they have time to go to a movie, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which they don't actually go to for a ridiculous reason.
Right, because, Mallory saw a boy.
Makes sense.
And then they still have time to set up, at the end, not to jump ahead too much, but we may as well, to set up the projector and show the Peace Corps films from Steve. This was a long fucking day.
Yeah. This is definitely a long day.
Yeah.
We're in the kitchen. We're in the kitchen, and Steven takes out his lonely TV dinner, his frozen, his bottle of beer and his TV dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just thought, I was going to say, you know what? Everyone's been there. Every adult's been there. It's just, it's not that pathetic. These things happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You think you have a great plan, and it just goes bust.
Right. So, and then my favorite thing though is Elise comes in. The moment when Elise comes in and they find each other, and thank God they're both there. And she goes over to the refrigerator, and she pours herself from a pitcher a glass of milk into a mug. Two things that don't happen in life ever to anyone.
Well, we've seen the pitcher of milk before, but the mug was new too. They took it to a whole new weird level.
It was like, that prop man has a very weird life if he thinks people are emptying their cartons of milk into a pitcher. Where, first of all,
putting it in a refrigerator.
And milk is really
when it comes to drinking, it is. When it comes to drinking liquids, the Keatons are like the Frankenfurter Castle of it's this weird pansexual orgy of milk and orange juice in the wrong implements of drinking. It's crazy.
We're gonna see iced tea in a decanter.
It's just very strange what they do with beverage service.
Yeah.
Yeah, and here's something else I didn't buy with this episode. So we have the turn at the end. Now that the whole family's together, and Elise and Steven are tired and want to go to bed, now the kids all want to hang out with them for no reason. It's all of a sudden we're at the end of the episode.
Yeah, there's absolutely no reason for it. There's no impetus for it. If you decided this 3 hours ago, guys, we wouldn't have to watch this trek.
Right.
Exactly.
And the kids don't even have a line of, it's like, wow, I guess mom and dad were trying to spend some time with us. I feel really bad now. No, it's just a turn. It's just, let's hang out. It's so...
What I also thought was really funny was at 2 points in the second act, bowling is on television. When we come into the living room in the second scene of Act 2, Steven turns off the TV. Bowling is on television because he says something about he gets the 7-10s. And then later on, last scene, they're watching. Alex is watching bowling on television. It's like, what were they obsessed with bowling this week for?
You know, when I was a kid, I would on Saturdays sometimes. Yeah, when I was a kid, I would be like taken over to my grandparents' house on like a Saturday morning or something.
Absolutely.
Exactly. And so I would be watching all the cartoons, and then, you know, just like hours upon hours of cartoons, to the point that when bowling came on, I was like, oh, fuck, I've been watching so much TV, and this is so boring. I should go do something.
Yeah. To be honest, you're right.
I think bowling
in the afternoons after the cartoons, it would be bowling.
Yeah. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like a dance show. Like Solid Gold,
and the other
some
thing,
kind of dance show would come on.
Mm-hmm.
Right. The final thing I would like to say is that the screen that they're going to watch the Super 8 footage or whatever their film that they have, that light blue, old-fashioned, it looks like for like a science sex ed class. The screen, the projector screen that they pull out, we had that, and we had the circle where it'd be like where you just do the flashes of the pictures, whatever they are.
Yeah.
Slides?
Yeah, the slides. That's what they are.
Yes, like the slide.
The slide. Grandpa to put that one in for you, Polly. Yeah. Gramps knew that word. That was slide.
Yeah.
Put that on your carousel, and we'd have everybody come over and watch the Grand Canyon pictures.
That's what the Packlers would do for fun. There you go.
We didn't have the screen. We had the projector. We had like the actual film projector, and I think we had a slide projector too. But we never had like the screen that we just showed up against the white wall. Yeah. And so, yeah, I wish we could give you more listeners, but that's pretty much the episode. It's so vanilla.
Still sounds like fire or thunder when I do this.
No, I think it was like under the phone or something. You were like pulling it. By the microphone?
That's right. Yeah, I'm in my computer, so it's like in the middle of it somewhere. Who knows where the microphone?
Okay.
I can't find the damn microphone anywhere on this damn thing.
It's not like the old-fashioned carousel. That didn't have a microphone. You just had to talk like a human.
And you knew where to turn it when there was a beep. You heard the beep and you pressed the button.
Hey, tell Henry he was great. He was terrific.
He did really good this
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah. He was,
Yeah.
Well, listeners, for questions of Quality Time with Family Ties at gmail.com. And for updates, be sure to find us at Qtwft on Twitter. Each of us is also on Twitter. I'm at Follow Jones.
I'm at Paul Packler.
and I'm at Corpep.
And be sure to like our Facebook page. We'd like to thank our producer, Barbara Dillon at Fanboy Comics. Fanboy Comics is an online conglomerate of geek media, providing its readers with daily insights and interviews into the geek pop culture spectrum. We also like to thank Perry Adams, who beautifully performs the song Without Us. Be sure to check out Perry's music at perryadams.net. We also like to thank Brian Dillon. Brian is the president of Fanboy Comics, and he also edits our show. And lastly, Sean Foster, Fanboy Comics graphic designer, who also designed our logo. Thank you, everybody, and we will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.